What is up, everyone? Thank you for joining us for another Overwatch Odyssey League matchup. Tonight, we have got the Midnight Muses going up against Cumberland Valley. It'll be an exciting matchup. Midnight Muses making their way up the rankings. They are now sitting at number 4. Cumberland Valley doing the same. They are actually up to number 8 now. So exciting stuff for both teams. And both teams are looking to continue moving up in the rankings as postseason is closing in, hoping to get the highest seeding that they can get before the final tournament starts. Tonight, I have got Yvonne here to cast with me. Yvonne, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm ready, Zard. I'm always happy to be back.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you and some insight you have, and I'm excited to get things underway. But before we do that, we've got some exciting news. We have got the Round 5 MVP announcement. So without further ado, actually, you know what, Yvonne, can you give me a good solid drum roll for me?
Maybe. Can we use the Discord audio?
Well, maybe not then. I think streamer mode disallows that, but I don't know.
Darn it. Well, we tried.
Without further ado, the Round 5 MVP is Gamatza from Midnight Muses, who will be playing tonight. Gamatza did some great things on Moira, averaging 22 elims per game, getting in a little over 5.5 damage per game, and, which I think is pretty great, getting in 13k healing on average per game. So excited to see what Gamatza can do tonight here against Cumberland Valley. But without further ado, we are going to go ahead and hop right into this matchup, which we
Moira
will
remains
start.
everywhere.
Moira remains everywhere. We will start things off with a hybrid game mode at Midtown.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say, oh, Moira remains everywhere. Rejoicing over this one. It's like, cause when you get to like higher and higher tier play, they're always saying, you know, Moira's not really that good of a pick, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, no, you wanna know what? MVP of the week, Moira main. There you go. That's exactly what we want to see.
You know, I gotta say, I think Moira is definitely a part of the meta, but as far as Moira goes, some of my friends that I play with, we like to refer to playing Moira as playing Overwatch easy mode, which I think playing a good Moira definitely does require some skill, being able to put your orbs where you want them effectively and efficiently, but overall I think Moira's a really strong support, especially in this season. So definitely some good things to see from Gamatza. But starting things off for the Midnight Muses, we have got Archer on tank, Kevin Thomas, KT playing DPS, Legendary on DPS, Mexi playing support, and Queenie playing support. And then on Cumberland Valley side, we've got Mr. Kezu playing support, Axel support, P-Shooter playing tank again, and Dire Raven and MBT playing DPS. Looking at these team comps, definitely looks like Midnight Muses are going to be playing a very brawly type comp, and it looks like Cumberland Valley might be trying to do the same, mixing up a little bit of maybe some rush in there. It'll be interesting to see how this works out. You see Midnight Muses setting up here on the train or in the high ground there, so it'll be good to see how that positioning can play into this first team fight.
I don't blame them for holding. Well, they were holding high ground. I don't blame them for going up there. That's a good place to jump down on. But I don't blame anybody on Midnight Muses to get a little eager to jump into the first fight this evening. Also, side note, I forgot the April Fool's Day thing was still live a few days later, so everyone still has the big googly eyes. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely entertaining to see, especially at the end of the game.
I can't get enough of it. Well, it looks like the Muses are going back up to the high ground, at least, to try to get, it might be a little late now with the Cumberland Valley already trying to get on to first checkpoint to unlock the payload. And Archer with, ow, that was a very, once again, Junker Queen, I know we talked about this before, you and me, Zord, is such an aggressive tank. She almost doesn't feel like a tank at times, but her kit is just such a powerful way to just spearhead into an enemy team, and you know, sometimes you wouldn't even think of her really as all that defensive tank, but I love watching Junker Queen hold her ground.
Sure. And I think having that Lucio there on Midnight Muses definitely helps, given that speed boost, allowing Junker Queen to move around. See Mr. Kezu getting low. Mr. Kezu going down to Archer here. And had Mr. Kezu not come out of spawn, that would have been an official team kill, but for all intents and purposes, that was a team kill coming from Midnight Muses' side there. See Axel now making a swap here, switching over to Ana.
So, that was a good sleep dart from Axel. So I see it's a really good ult by Legendary right now, getting 2 with the rampage from Junker Queen, allowing no heals to be given. So that was a good combo right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that combination of Archer using ult and Legendary using ult, you know, being in that small space with Death Blossom going off is not a good place to be.
And Muses still have 3 of their ults. We still got Baptiste's, Lucio's, and we have Cassidy's ult as well.
You see Cumberland Valley really trying to fight them while they still have the high ground, but being able to really pull them off that high ground is going to prove to be effective. P-Shooter able to put shield up and prevent KT, able to be super effective with ult here. Raven getting a pick on Archer. That's going to be a huge pick for Cumberland Valley to win this fight. Beat being dropped there from Midnight Muses. Raven does go down. P-Shooter able to get Legendary. Queenie also going down here. And it's just KT here. KT able to roll into safety.
It's a solid, very solid take for Cumberland Valley on the first, and oh, here we go again, Zoran. We've got terrifying Doomfist going in. Not enough to stop an entire 1v5, but might have been enough to hold point. Oh wow, okay, I get the point. The round is not over yet. And honestly, I was getting excited. I think this is a very strong take they have so far. But now we have a Doomfist on the field, which I will always say is going to be very scary, especially a player who really knows how to use him.
Yeah, definitely. I think we may have talked about this before, or maybe it was someone else in a different match, but having a Doomfist player, they're either really good or really bad. I feel like there's never really an in-between. Archer
no, that was me.
That was, yeah. Archer does switch back to Junker Queen now that the point has been captured, which I think is a good choice, fitting with the comp that Midnight Muses are running here.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I mean, they do still have a ton of maneuverability and agility on this setup anyway. I mean, as we said, we've got Lucio, we've got Baptiste with his incredible jump. Honestly, Cassidy with his ability to dodge roll, and Reaper can just straight teleport wherever he really wants to be.
Archer looking very low, able to use Shout, really trying to apply some pressure on Axel here. Archer does go down, is going to be Legendary. And Mexi here on point.
Mexi has played a solid Lucio this entire game. Just being difficult to hit. Honestly, I've seen Mexi multiple times literally push opponents off payload or off point to capture payload multiple times. I felt really bad for not mentioning it. I meant to mention it twice before. I just kept, like, there's so much other things happening, but definitely don't want to overshadow. But Cumberland, once again, just straight pushing Muses away.
And they're sitting on 4 of their 5 ults here. Looks like a beat is going to be coming from Midnight Muses. Several ults look like they're going to be coming online shortly for the Midnight Muses. So this will play a huge factor. Cumberland Valley can effectively use their ults quickly and efficiently in order to win this team fight without allowing Midnight Muses to get theirs. And Beat is going to be dropped here. Axel does go down here.
That might be equally parts a good thing and a bad thing, because Beat does take a little while to build up. It's not an immediate thing. But, you know, I mean, they won the team fight, yes, but now we still have those 4 ultimates. I mean, Ramager's got Annihilation, May's got Blizzard. Those are 2 very powerful ults, and we have a Kitsune Rush all together, and we have an Immortality field from Baptiste, yes, but I don't think that's gonna handle 2 or 3 ults at the same time as well.
Certainly. Especially with Annihilation, the mobility of that ult, being able to just walk into the other team. As long as you get some good sustain from your support, it can be a very lethal and potential team-killing ult. Ult coming from Legendary, able to get 2 there. Archer assisting for the 3rd. That's going to be a 4th there. Is just P-Shooter, who is able to get a pick on Mexi, but does go down.
That was a team kill. That... You know... Reaper really, like, is such an interesting character, because he could make or break a team kill in about 2 seconds flat. Because if you could, he doesn't even necessarily need to ult every time to make that happen, but if you can get behind the team and they're not exactly noticing you right away, if you get 2 or 3 shots in, you can instigate a team kill, like, just incredibly quickly.
Certainly. Cumberland Valley is going to have to hit Q here pretty quick, though. And there's Nano, there is Annihilation. They heard me.
Yeah, it's Kitsune Rush, it's Annihilation, it's Nano Boost, and we still got a May ult, and we still got a Sojourn ult. They're not quite done yet. They still have 2 in the bank just in case they're going to need to make this final turn and this final push. I like that May wall, to be perfectly honest. Making everybody on Midnight Muses move around just to try to give that little extra time to get to the final.
And Blizzard is coming in here.
That was a little...
KT able to get 2 there.
That was so fast. I barely even noticed it because KT was so far back. It just pops and gets 2. That was an incredible just take at the last second for Midnight Muses. Just everything just fell into place rather perfectly, if you ask me. We had so many different... I just loved the utilization of all the ultimates just to take it away. Now, that being said, that payload was incredibly close to the final checkpoint.
Oh, definitely.
So I don't want to take anything away from Cumberland Valley. That was an incredibly solid map. That must have been like 2 meters maybe from the final checkpoint. Like that by all means was an incredible take, or incredible first round.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest with you, Yvonne. I felt like I blinked my eyes, and then all of a sudden, Cumberland Valley was already capping the second checkpoint, or getting to the second checkpoint.
That took them no time. So I can't wait to see how it is with the tables turned, and suddenly Cumberland's now on the defense, and I already see Bastion. This is gonna be scary.
Yeah.
Actually,
I mean,
that is a character to just hold that high ground. Because you can just go into... What is the tank formation called? What's the official word for it? Whatever that ability is called. I'm just blanking on it right now. And you can just kind of...
Which one? I'm sorry.
The one where he like kind of turns into a tank and you just use the Gatling gun.
Oh, is it assault configuration?
Configuration, yeah. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I forgot that name. But that is a perfect place for Bastion to be, and you all know what? And Sigma. Sigma is also very powerful in this choke. Okay, Dire totally was reading my mind there. So the Muses waste absolutely no time trying to get on that checkpoint. They're going for it immediately. It does not work immediately though. Archer, and I guess it's just Archer now, is still holding very strong. Once again, I'm just saying Junker Queen is an incredibly aggressive just tank. And she has like I love Junker Queen's abilities because she has her own sustain. She has a temporary speed buff that gives her a little bit of HP. Her bleed damage allows her to heal. So that if she is away from the rest of her team for a few moments, if she has a good situation, she can retreat and live to fight another day.
You see right now the Midnight Muses look a little split there, trying to get some off angles. Not necessarily a bad thing. No one is caught out of position. See, Mr. Kezu is going to try and get some good damage there. Discording on Archer here. You see windows being used here. Archer able to get a pick on Kezu. That's going to be huge with no Discord, but Archer does go down as well. Death Blossom here for Legendary. And Legendary able to get another pick there on MBT, just wreaking havoc on the backline. And Mort does come out. Death Blossom does come, but P-Shooter able to eat the majority of that ult there. And P-Shooter able to get Legendary down. Still no progress on the payload. And B is dropped here. And P-Shooter does go down.
You know, quite personally, I think Archer had a really good idea using ult to try to negate everything that Zenyatta was going for, Mr. Kizu. I'm trying to remember everyone's names, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm honestly, I'm a little bit speechless right now. I just love how quick thinking the competitors always would be, because, you know, in some situations, I don't even think I'd be so quick on the draw to realize something, because I'd be like, maybe I should save the ult for a few seconds down the line, and snap decisions in a game like this will really make or break a team fight, sometimes even a map.
And Archer looking very low, but able to get out. Immort being used here. P-Shooter does survive, at least for the moment here. Another window being used for Cumberland Valley. Ult coming out from KT, able to get Axel down in the backline there. Dire Raven does go down as well as just P-Shooter, and P-Shooter goes down to Queenie.
Muses want to waste absolutely no time getting this payload from point A to point V. Very, very strong pushes, very direct. Move. Once again, we're going to get to that second checkpoint in no time flat.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Looks like Cumberland Valley is going to go ahead and make a push here. They're going to have to get around this blockade, though.
If they want to get on get on this checkpoint.
All coming from Dire Raven, unable to connect with anyone.
No, but it did make a lot of good space for that moment to try to keep them off. Oh, we got two with the sigil. Didn't down any, but I take that back. We did end up getting.
And Kezu and P-Shooter are able to combo and get Archer down.
Mr. Kezu is one of those scary Zenyatas that you absolutely have to respect when they're on the field.
And it looks like P-Shooter extended a little bit too far. Does go down to Archer. The pressure there from Dire Raven really preventing Archer from pushing forward and finishing off Mr. Kezu there. I think that was some great, I guess, positioning prevention. And Kezu does get Queenie. Legendary able to get Dire Raven. Ult coming out from Kevin Thomas. Unable to peek, though, taking a lot of damage and antied right now. Does go down. Not able to get ult off. Tranquility being used here to keep P-Shooter up. It looks like B is going to be dropped here for Midnight Muses. Another Death Blossom coming from Legendary, able to get 3. Archer finishing off Dire Raven to make that 4.
Legendary has just consistently been very tactical, I should say, with those Death Blossoms.
That's going to be the first map there, going to Midnight Muses.
almost wish that Overwatch would have the ability to almost tag team a play of the game and like feature, cause Legendary also helped Archer. I'm not saying that Archer does not deserve the play of the game. I just wish that you could almost feature two people, cause that was such a it just worked together so well. Both players just worked so perfectly together in that exact moment that the play of the game was.
Sure. I mean, that was a really close game from Cumberland Valley, able to push the payload almost all the way to the end. Fortunately, Midnight Muses really having to kick it into the next gear there. So it'll be good to see how that transitions here into the next map. But we are going to be playing Push at Esperanza. So definitely going to be, I would say, a little more favorable in Midnight Muses comp. But that's not to take away anything from Cumberland Valley, as they were doing some really good things there. I'm excited to see how that transitions.
I think that Cumberland Valley was very close for both teams. I think Push again changing up the. Hold on one second. I'm having a weird moment with my. Where was I? I definitely think Cumberland Valley equally has a chance to win the next map. As I said, whenever it's the first map, everyone's kind of like shaking off a little bit of anxiety, trying to ensure that they're trying to learn the ebb and the flow of the teams. I definitely think that by the end of the second map, Cumberland Valley definitely looked a lot more comfortable on where they were. So Push map is just another opportunity to show them. This is a bit more like, again, you don't get a lot of a break in Push, so this will definitely get them to loosen up a little bit, because they're going to have to keep pushing no matter what happens. Literally in this case. Yeah,
that is true. They're going to have to really adapt and adjust to the aggressiveness that Midnight Muses tend to show. So in order to do that, are there any composition changes, looking at what they did last time, are there any composition changes that you think to yourself, yeah, maybe Cumberland Valley should try this? Or you thinking that they should maybe stick with what they've got until proven otherwise?
It's a little bit of both. I'm not gonna say here nor there, because for me, I agree that composition is very important, but I never want to detract and force the player to not feel like they should pick a character that's based on a composition if they're not comfortable with that character. Like, if you're not very good on character XYZ, I'm not gonna ask you to play it even if that makes the composition better. There are other tanks that can work with counters to every tank. So you just got to find out who's super effective and just go with it. And again, your comfortability is always what truly matters. So
sure,
that might actually work out in a favor, because push maps are a lot more open, so it gives you a lot more opportunity to play with more heroes. Because again, push, it's such a big open space that allows you that kind of I don't know what the word to use. Just the ability to use other characters in different ways, because you have the more room to do it.
Yeah, the versatility of a team. Yeah, no, you're fine. I would definitely say that. I gotta be honest though, from the very first game that that Cumberland Valley played to now, I think they look like a very different team, and they look like they've got some things figured out for themselves, and I'm excited to see more and more of that. They're definitely developing more as a team. Great stuff coming from them, and again, like I said before, I'm excited to see how that goes into this next map. We are looking again at Push at Esperanza, waiting for some roster changes here. It looks like Mexi, who is playing support, is going to be swapped out for Gamatza, so we'll get to see some play from the round 5 MVP in this next map, so I'm excited for that.
Oh, definitely. We get to have a little bit of extra fun. I also like the idea of when we do, I mean, not every team has to do this, and you don't have to do this in the Overwatch Odyssey League, but I don't blame teams particularly when they have a swap out in between rounds. It's kind of like just swapping your players when you're playing any other sport, football or whatever it is. So I I love seeing it because it's a change up. It's also a change up of strategy because no two players play quite the same. So they might have swapped out a support for another support, but they might have a completely different play style, and that's just also going to have to be another thing that's going to keep Cumberland on their toes.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that was one thing. So my team, if you were here for Midnight Muses' last matchup against Respawn Rangers, that was something that we saw a lot of in our matchup against Midnight Muses, is that constant swap. So never knowing exactly what to expect, as well as some role swaps in between maps for certain players. So it'll be interesting to see how Cumberland Valley is able to adapt to that.
Well, lucky us, we are going to find out very shortly.
That is the truth. That is the truth.
We got two very I forget if it's dive or rush that we call for these particular sets of teams, but we got lots of agility, lots of mobility coming from both teams. We've got a Tracer, we've got a Sombra, we've got Diva, we got Winston. It's just everybody's gonna be flying and jumping and running all over the place this entire map, Zorn. We are never gonna truly know what's gonna be happening. Everyone's gonna be in 18 different places at once. It's gonna be so exciting.
That is true. And it looks like Midnight Muses are maybe hoping to flip the map here a little bit. Kezu does go down pretty early in the fight here.
We've lost possession of the robot. We must stop the enemy from advancing.
Sudo does come out. MBT and Axel both going down. Dire Raven going down, as well as just P Shooter there. P Shooter is going to get demeched and does go down. Well, at least for a brief moment, Cumberland Valley had the lead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, Cover was like just charging straight for that robot immediately, and I love what Midnight does. They're really quick to flank, to try to change their position on the map to keep themselves together and just try to upset. Like it's almost like they want to like take the ground straight from under them when it comes to how they perform together.
You see Archer able to get a pick on Dire Raven. P Shooter able to take Queenie down. Is now turned into a 4v4 here. Midnight Muses without a support. Cumberland without a DPS. Gamatsa able to get Kezu down, but does go down to P Shooter. Another going down for Cumberland Valley. MBT goes down. It's just P Shooter here fighting to contest the point here.
It is really difficult to play Diva against Winston. I don't blame P Shooter for. Oh, I have no idea where. I almost forgot where spawns were. I actually got kind of mixed up. I was like, oh, where did Dire Raven just come from? But that's where their spawns was. I don't blame P Shooter for trying to jump in and prevent the robot from continuing to push, but I do believe that we gotta stick. Because again, Cumberland, when they are together, they do stick together really well, and they do an amazing job as a group. So. Again, I understand that a little bit of anxiety comes in when it comes to, oh crap, they're pushing the robot, but always remember, you gotta keep a cool head, and remember, you're always stronger with your team.
Yeah, and it looks like Cumberland Valley is going to get the first pick here. Archer taking lots of damage. Gamatsa does go down here. Archer looking very low still, does go down as well. Midnight Muses are able to get past a little bit past the butt scratch here, so definitely going to need a very good push.
Sorry, what?
The butt scratch.
All right, I don't think I've ever heard. All right, we're just gonna go with it. Oh, Archer's. Oh goodness, Archer's popping ult.
And it does look like P Shooter is able to get a pick there with Bomb, but does go down shortly after. Midnight Muses coming away with a team fight here. And a solid ult coming here from Mr. Kezu. Able to get 4 down. Just Legendary that was able to make it out. Great team fight. I mean, that was a swift, very quick team fight coming from Cumberland Valley. Able to take that. So far, it seems like they're doing a very good job of using their ults and using them effectively and not allowing that to cause a bit of a, I'd say, ult domino. You see, Archer is going to swap to Doomfist, but having that Sombra might prove to hinder the mobility there quite a bit. Kitsune Rush does come out. Able to get a pick. Axel does go down to Archer. And it looks like Legendary and Raven both hoping to build their charge and shoot the other one. Legendary able to do so first. Archer getting another pick. A Pea Shooter there. And trying to get out here.
You know, I love watching I kind of love this subtlety when everyone gets all swept up in a team fight and then someone in the background was a little sneaky support like Sombra, Moira, Tracer always is being like, I'm gonna just steal this robot, I'm gonna take it away. I didn't even notice it at first. But you know, in push, that is what makes a very dominant play, because you know, you stick around your barricade, you're just like, alright, we're just gonna end this team fight, we're gonna be fine, and then you turn around, it's like, you're missing something.
Yeah. A hack coming from Kezu, able to get Gamasa out of ult here. And Kezu able to get another pick. Ult coming from Kezu, able to get another Axel, taking down KT. And that is going to wipe out the remaining members of Midnight Muses here in this team fight. I think Cumberland Valleys they're having some really good team fights, but as Spida pointed out, you know, in push, you have to really win 2 team fights for every one you lose. And really right now with the lead that Midnight Muses have, it seems to be going back and forth, and they're not able to get the progress that they're hoping to have here. A hack coming on Archer.
Well, as I said, and it's the same reason why I love Flashpoint. You don't really get that break. Like, all right, you're behind, so now you got to win that second team fight. And that's where, again, I also say that these mobility characters really do reign supreme on push, because you gotta stay on, more than anything, you gotta stay on top of that robot, because immediately it will just get taken away. And you know, Muses just time and time again just have that ability to just quick redirect the entirety of a team fight. They have a lot of good disruptive characters. Like Archer again is proving that just the ability to just stun characters and just knock them out of whatever they're doing or thinking with Doomfist is just it just proves to be very powerful in an area like this.
Sure. Another pick here for Cumberland Valley. Still a decently even fight. Archer does get hacked. And Archer does go down.
Find it very interesting that you know, I'll speak time and time again about characters that have high amounts of agility and they have these like dive rush combos to really work with push maps, but it's also really interesting when you have like more stand your ground type characters.
Sure.
Like Diva, who has the mobility but she also has that huge defense matrix. It's just this is not the best setup for poor D.Va. You've got Moira, who's kind of, you know, D.Va's immediate counter, being able to just bypass that defense matrix, and you have Doomfist who can just kind of snap her out of it. But as a whole, being a good, like, stand your ground and very defensive based tank or teammate as a whole actually proves to be always very beneficial in these kind of fights, because you know, when you're a bit more in the mobility agility side of things, you are a little bit more squishy to compensate that.
And the combination of Kevin and Archer able to get 4 down there. Looks like Midnight Muses are sitting on 4 alts. Meanwhile, Cumberland Valley have none. This could potentially mean a pretty swift end to this map. And Dire Raven does go down. Legendary officially getting the final blow, but a lot of damage being done by Archer there.
I love the end of round ultimate gauntlet rush that always happens. Those final decisive moments of a match.
I gotta be honest, I love that highlight intro. Really bamboozles you.
This is so hard. I can't take these googly eyes. They're too much.
Yeah.
Oh. Alright, but anyway, going to the somber play of the game.
They throw you off. You're 100% right there. They do catch you off guard.
Oh goodness. But yeah, again, solid take from the Muses. Very confident, very just so in your face all the time, everywhere. As I said, it was almost like the Muses' entire plan was to literally sweep the rug out from under Cumberland Valley. Again, as I was trying to talk about with D.Va, I believe that Cumberland had some amazing parts where they did hold their ground accordingly, and I think they did a wonderful job with that. Again, I just think that, you know, team composition and just like the intensity of push might have just gotten a little bit away from them. But as I have said, play who you're comfortable with sometimes. Team comp isn't going to be everything, but in this scenario, it was what, in some ways, not in every way, is what got a little bit of the better of them.
Sure. And like I was saying kind of mid-map there, everything was looking very back and forth, but unfortunately just with the nature of the beast of a push game mode, you have to win more team fights than you lose, especially after having lost that first team fight. Cumberland Valley just playing at a disadvantage there. Everything, again, looking very back and forth, but having to really push forward and able to get those 2 team fights back to back is going to be the deciding factor there in a push map.
Yeah, I have to concur wholeheartedly. I think the game is not completely over for Cumberland. Again, I think I saw a lot of more comfortable improvements on the second map. I did see improvements. I did see the characters moving around a lot more to counter Muses as an opponent. But I don't know. I can't wait to see what we got going on next.
Yeah, we are looking to possibly pull in one of the Cumberland Valley players. Looks like they are going to decline. So Cumberland Valley, a little background for those of you who weren't here for when we initially brought in Cumberland Valley. So Cumberland Valley is a high school esports team and honestly doing some really good things so far. Their captain, I would say, being the only official adult, as far as I'm aware, kind of speaking for them, looks like a lot of people are wanting to do an interview, but being downvoted there by the captain, understandably. So nothing against the captain at all. Definitely, if that's not something that they want to do, I'm not going to force anyone to do it. So meanwhile, we are going to be heading into, I believe, Yvonne's favorite game mode. Can you guess what it is? I mean, I sent it to you, but can you take a guess?
Is it gonna be Flashpoint? It's gonna be New Junk City. Okay, Zorn's just spoiling me tonight. We had a push map, and then immediately following the push map is my favorite game mode with my favorite map. It's my night. I can't help it.
You know, MBT for Ducky. Yep, we can do that. All right, looks like Midnight Muses are again going to swap up their roster a little bit, and Cumberland Valley, for the first time, are going to be able to do the same, and they are throwing in a sub here.
Again, I love seeing a rotation of players. That means we have new material, we have new play styles. It just makes everything look. I'm not saying that it like Overwatch doesn't get like not fresh, because again we're always changing up with the maps, but I just love seeing the way that like situations change because we're playing, changing people's play styles, how they perceive everything. It always makes, it's always just that bit more interesting when watching a map.
Yeah, I would say so. Looks like Cumberland Valley is still going on in their Discord debating whether or not this interview is going to happen. But unfortunately, we are going to go ahead and hop into Flashpoint at New Junk City.
They're a little excited.
And as we are getting, as the teams are picking their comps and everything, what are some things that you're looking forward to here in this Flashpoint matchup?
So, I'm gonna level with you here. I'm gonna say this every single time because I do say it every single time we bring up a Flashpoint map. Somebody put Ramacha into this game mode. One of them two tanks have to pay. No, because he's perfect for this opening checkpoint. He really is. He's so versatile for this opening checkpoint. You put him together with a Mei, you're pretty well off because you can wall off opponents, you can shield, you can just go and rush in, including with Mei. But if you just put a Ram and a Mei together, or a Junker Queen, or you actually have a pretty fun first point at the very least. Yeah, but that's kind of like what I love to see. I just love seeing. You know what? I kind of like seeing Flashpoint get a little messy. Like, I mean, I guess that's kind of the point because this is basically a gladiatorial match map.
Sure.
So it kind of makes sense that like that's almost the spirit you want to feel when you get into this Flashpoint map. Is I'm like I kind of want it to look a little messy. That's kind of what I want to get into.
And you see that Midnight Muses are going to stick with a very familiar comp here, keeping Junker Queen. For tank, you see Reaper, Sojourn, Lucio, and Moira. Looks like Cumberland Valley is going to try something a little bit different. Almost able to get an early pick there on Dire Raven, but saved there from Axel and Kiriko with that Suzu.
Yeah.
And Archer is going to go down. Ducky able to get Legendary here. GoPro Legend going down. Alice going down. Is just going to be Mexi there on point. And Mr. Kezu on Mercy whipping out the Glock and eliminating Mexi there to, I would say, effectively get a team kill. Not an official one, unfortunately.
It's a team kill in our hearts.
Yeah.
You know I said this whole shtick about Ramp, but I love seeing Orisa also here because it's just a very difficult tank to deal with. You have this close quarters these like corridors to get into the big fighting area, and you just block so much stuff by just being unable to be moved. And then you just have the whatever the spinny block ability is called that Orisa has, where you just are like, no bullets or anything of the sort are going to go anywhere near my teammates. It's just such a good wall of a shutdown. But Muses, once again, they're just gonna come in full throttle and they're gonna say, well, hope y'all had fun, but we're here now and we're here to stay.
And honestly, I'm gonna have to say it. I absolutely love the mobility I'm seeing from Mr. Kezu here on Mercy. Definitely something essential to having a good Mercy player is that mobility. And Suzu is on cooldown, so Cumberland Valley is going to receive no healing. Archer able to get 2 picks there. GoPro is able to get back here from spawn. Ult coming here from Legendary.
I know for a fact that Legendary, because I saw it happen, Legendary immediately turns to immediately face Mercy like, nah, you getting out this guy right now.
Yep. Which I think was a good zoning use of that ult, a good zoning ult preventing Mr. Kezu from doing what Mr. Kezu wanted to do. And it looks like Midnight Muses are going to be looking left here. They are able to spot Cumberland Valley moving here, so they are going to go ahead and rotate.
You know, Cumberland's got some very interesting characters because they got a good deal of characters. Again, we got Sojourner, we got Orisa, who are just very like straightforward characters for being defensive. But then we got Axel on Kiriko. We've got Echo. We got some slippery characters. Obviously, we got Mr. Kezu, who Mercy is not always the easiest thing to take care of, just because you can move around so much in such a short period of time. I always forget how fast Mercy can be. You never think about it because she kind of just hovers there and heals, but you forget just how quickly she can zip to her next, to the next hero to get to them to heal them.
Sure.
So it's gonna end up making Mr. Kezu a very difficult target, and also Mercy's just so small.
Yeah. You know, I'm rather intrigued, Yvonne, I have to say. Cumberland Valley is sitting on all 5 ults, opting to not use any of them in order to secure that first point at 99.
I see where they were coming from, because it was just, again, Flashpoint again is you are going to have the best time, or you are going to have the worst time possible. I don't blame any of them for saving their ults for the next Flashpoint. Ow, Legendary. 2 for 2, ouch. But even though they used, 2 ults, they still got 3, and they still got 3 very powerful ults. Dire Raven sitting on the copy. That's, no matter who you pick out of that lineup, you're gonna be a little bit scary. You've got a pretty scary lineup of just to pick from. You know what? I feel like it would be a very terrifying thing if Echo had the ability to turn into any of her teammates. Could you imagine you're just like, alright, I'm gonna be 2 Orisas now. There's not an Orisa on the other team, but I don't care.
Legendary able to get the pick on Dire Raven, but Dire Raven able to meet the elimination. GoPro using ult, able to get 1, does go down. And P-Shooter able to get Mexi down. Cumberland Valley able to cap point. They have a lot of progress to go in order to catch up to where the Midnight Muses are. But in Flashpoint, that point progression does go up quite a bit faster. It looks like P-Shooter found a little ducky here. Is pinging it for the rest of the team to find. Honestly, I didn't know that ducky was there either, so kudos to P-Shooter for finding that. And Legendary able to get Dire Raven again here. Beat does come out from Midnight Muses.
Oh, so quickly. Like I blink and then he's got high noon again. Like I just remind me never to make any of our teams mad ever, Zoran. Like make sure I never get anybody from any. These are the scariest Overwatch players I've ever seen. Never make them angry.
You know, I gotta be honest. I mean, I don't even necessarily say that this has anything to do with how Cumberland Valley has played on that second point especially, but being able to get to 99 and just not being able to finish it out, they'll have to try and figure that out here, because if this next point goes to Midnight Muses, that's going to be the map.
Alright. I don't know why I'm blanking on this, but maybe you could enlighten me, Zoran. Does the point, specifically in Flashpoint, does that scale with how many people are standing on it? Or is it just that flat rate of just gaining quickly?
It just gains. It just goes.
It just gains faster? Okay, I don't know why in the back of my head I was going, oh, if more people stand on it, it's gonna go fast. I feel like that's just, you know, like, common sense is getting the better of me, where you think, yeah, that makes sense, but it's not quite how that works. It's a good res on this Kizu.
Looks like Legendary is going to be backing out here, not wanting to push in by himself. Wise business decision on Legendary's in there. Looks like Cumberland Valley are going to be able to get probably at least up to 50, probably higher, before Midnight Muses are able to get any progress here. Legendary with another ult.
Actually, four of the 5 of the Muses have ultimate already. Well, all right, there's Axel.
And it looks like they are going to be getting 3 picks there. Well, I guess I'd like to say that I wasn't wrong with my prediction and saying that Cumberland Valley was going to get to at least 50%. Here they are at 92%. Really, they only have to win about one more team fight in order to secure this. See Dire Raven now switching off, going to Bastion.
You know, I actually kind of like that decision. It's just a character who just lays out a lot of pain really quickly. Again, pairing that with a Risa, because you can just flank like that, and you can just start mowing people down with a Gatling gun. That sounds so horrible, but that's actually what's happening. That's what the character does.
Cumberland Valley, they are going to get the point here.
Yay! That was a great take, to be honest. I love the way that they, you know, used Arisa to get in everybody's face, and the Bastion came in with the flank, and that was a very solid take.
It looks like Lucky does get separated from the team, does go down, and that's going to hurt this first team fight here going in for the point.
It's always a very interesting point, in my opinion, because there's a few different ways you can approach this. There's you know, you can approach from these upper corner corridors, like what's happening right now. You could go through what is essentially what the front doors, as you could call it, and it's just a very interesting way, because as you saw in Cumberland Valley, because you're in such a tight corridor, it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel. Like you can get that opportunity to make sure that your bullets hit, just because your opponent doesn't really have anywhere to go. And it proved to make an effective tactic, because that's an effective push. They ended up taking the point.
It looks like P Shooter is playing Find It in the middle of the map, able to find a kangaroo sign there on the current objective.
Meanwhile, Midnight Muses are regrouping and trying to take high ground here. See, GoPro is really looking for Death Blossom here. Nanoed Bastion looking very lethal. Archer taking a lot of damage. Beat is being dropped.
We got Bastion's ult, we got Lucio's ult, we got Coalescence dropping.
And Legendary able to get 2, Archer getting 1, and the rest of the team goes down. That is an official team kill coming from Midnight Muses. Definitely needed as Cumberland Valley was nearing completion on this point. It'll be interesting. Looks like P-Shooter has ult, Ducky has ult as well on Sojourn. They're going to have to use these, I would say, pretty early in order to secure the point. And hopefully with this next team fight, Cumberland Valley are able to get it, or Midnight Muses are able to hold them off and secure both this objective and the map.
Okay, I'll take that sleep. That was a very good cancellation of Death Blossom. Just very quick to shut out and. Oh, all right. I wasn't expecting that.
I say definitely a great fight coming from both teams here.
Absolutely, definitively as I love Flashpoint. I think that Muses are such a good force to be reckoned with because they stick together so well. They're always. I'm not gonna say they're always right on top of each other because they're not, but they always move as one when it's the next objective, the next when they were together, when they were on the push map, they were always just moving as one, and they knew when I don't know how to explain this to you, but you could especially see it on the push map and some points on Flashpoint. They knew when individuals knew when to break off to capture an objective or to go and sneakily get, whatever the robot is on push, and then they all like come back together at perfect timing. There's always like proper flanks that are always happening. It's just Midnight Muses. Are we sure they're not magically sorcerers? Are we sure about that?
I mean, they are definitely doing a great job. Especially on those first 2 objectives. I mean, they were really able to pull it out, even though on both objectives, Cumberland Valley was able to get to 99%. So doing a really good job of effectively choosing their fights and how they want to take them, and really able to get in there and secure the objective. Definitely some really close fights that I've been seeing so far coming from both teams. I can't say that... I should say I can't say unbiasedly that it's a shame that Cumberland Valley didn't win that last map, but although there's absolutely nothing for them to hang their heads over on that last map, it's definitely, I'm sure, something that they're thinking, man, that was definitely a very winnable map. And I'd say about the first thing with the first map as well there at Midtown, definitely just some minor things, and that was theirs. Now, we do still have 2 maps for point accumulation that we will be playing, next one being a control game mode at Samoa. Definitely going to be some good things. I think CV Cumberland Valley has it in them to pull away with these last 2 maps, so I'm excited to see what happens.
Oh yes, and honestly, sometimes you almost notice that the players play a little bit better after this because there's no longer the stress of, oh crap, like this is a little bit more of, again, it's just point accumulation. I've noticed, because I've been here a couple of times now, that sometimes the players do end up playing a little bit better because they're not as stressed about, oh crap, now we have to win. So that often helps.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of a weight lifted off of Midnight Muses' shoulders after securing that third map and officially getting the win. But also, again, Midnight Muses now sitting at 4th here in the standings, which is really good. I mean, they've managed to climb their way up and able to really do some good things. So this point accumulation is going to really matter here going forward.
And again, I know that we're like, oh, it's just for point accumulation. I mean, anything can still happen. I honestly, again, I like seeing characters, I love seeing players play when there's a little bit less stress, because you end up seeing them do a lot more fun stuff because they're not under as much pressure. I know I'm kind of being redundant, but there's something to be said about it.
Sure. All right, looks like we are actually, before we go into this 4th map, we are going to switch things up a little bit. We are going to be doing an interview with one of the Cumberland Valley players now. We're going to be pulling in Pea Shooter 27, the tank player for Cumberland Valley, in just one moment here. Pea Shooter, what's happening?
Oh, hey.
How are you?
Hello there.
How you doing?
Hi. I'm doing pretty good.
Good, good. I have to say, although the score reflects a 3-0, I would definitely say every single one of these maps have been really, really close. I had made the observation that you guys have definitely put in the work, and you look like a very different team than what we had seen maybe toward the beginning of the season. Are there some specific things that you all have been working on in order to really get that synergy and that teamwork down?
Honestly, not really. We've just been kind of not anything specific. We've just been playing the game a little more and just overall getting better. And I agree that we are doing much better now than before, because usually we would just get completely rolled, but now we're on average getting 80 to 90% on objectives.
Yeah. Yeah. You all have been playing very well together, like I had said before. And I gotta say, that Flashpoint map was pretty brutal. On the first 2 objectives, you were able to get all the way up to 99% and not be able to close it out. What were some thoughts that you had going on in your head and through the team's heads there as you were going into that 3rd objective, which you did end up securing?
Mostly just what did we do in that point that made us lose, or what did the opponents do that they took advantage of to get the point at the end, and then how could we counteract that next time?
Sure. Yeah, and I think overall you all have been playing, I think, as a team a lot better. In terms of communication, are there some things that you guys have worked on there to really help, I guess maybe pick targets rather than just kind of go in there guns a-blazing?
Yeah, we've had an overall much greater increase in communication. The majority of our players went talk a lot. It was mainly Emma, our main person, but now pretty much everyone's talking all the time about who they're attacking, who's used what abilities, ultimate status, etc.
Yeah. I think that communication is definitely key, and I think I saw, like I had said before, some very good or some very noticeable improvement coming from you guys. I think that you've been performing exceptionally well on tank. Is there any specific things that you would attribute your success here that you've seen tonight, or your ability increase so far tonight?
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. I just watch a lot of not really tutorials on YouTube, but sort of explanations on how mechanics of certain characters work, and then just kind of I take that and then I think of in-game scenarios for how those could be applied and what they could do to benefit me.
Sure. Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of very beneficial content out there to watch and to improve your game. And it may seem silly to say, but definitely seeing someone else do it, or even watching your own VODs, I think could be pretty beneficial. So it's good to hear you say that.
Now, my last question here before I turn it over to Yvonne, a little bit different of a question here. I got to know, what's your go-to snack or drink when you're playing Overwatch?
I forget the brand name, but there are these like little packs of 6 like peanut butter crackers that you can buy in stores.
Okay.
Those are pretty good because you
Yeah.
just grab them and then there's no like hassle, just open and eat them.
Sure. Now, I got to ask, if I'm thinking of the correct thing, I got to say I'm a cheese cracker with cheddar filling type of person. Would you
Yeah,
describe...
those.
Are those the ones that really hit different, or are you kind of a peanut butter
Yeah.
person?
Yeah, the cheese filling is really good.
Yeah, it kind of slaps in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got for you, P Shooter. Again, exceptional stuff. Yvonne, do you have any questions for P Shooter before we get this next map underway?
No, but I do have to say one thing. I absolutely hate the fact that you said three vague words about a peanut butter cracker. I knew exactly what the heck you were talking about. And about like you said 3 words, and I was like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hey, I mean, if the snack slaps, you know.
Hmm.
Oh, that's so terrible, though. It just takes you 3 seconds.
Sure. All right. Well, I think that's it. P Shooter, keep up the good work and good luck in these next 2 maps. We appreciate you having you here.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty, that was P Shooter, the tank player for Cumberland Valley. Definitely a fun interview, and really made me hungry for some of those snack crackers. I may have to go out and get myself some here in the future.
I know the Keebler brand makes one version of it. I forget what the other version is.
Is it
I'm
just
so
Ritz?
sorry. No, well, there is a Ritz variation. There's a version from like the Keebler, the people who do the fudge wafers. Like they have a version of it, and there's a 3rd variant. Now I am hungry, Soren. Why did you do this?
Is it called just like Austin or something like that?
So something along the lines of that. There's a blue label on it.
All right, chat, help us out. We need some help. You need
Yeah,
to look
people
up.
on the internet that know exactly what you're doing. Tell
y'all
us what the name
y'all
of the
have
snack
the ability
is.
to Google things right now. I do not. Go ahead and hit me with that snack name. I gotta know. I gotta know what it is.
Okay, back to Overwatch. Samoa. Can I be honest with you, Zoran? I think I brought this up. This is not my favorite map. I really don't care that much for this map. I don't know. It's just something about the way it's set up is really weird to me. I feel like too much of this map is not ever being used. Like you get the area where the check or the point is, and then you get those 2 like buildings, and then the rest of this map is never touched by the opponent. It's just space to get to the 2 huts. Like nothing really happens on this map. You
know, I gotta say one of my favorite parts about this map is just the fact that you get to see coconuts. And it's actually this specific objective that you get to see those coconuts at the end. So that's my hype part about Samoa. Really love Samoa for that reason, and probably that reason only. But here, I will turn the camera around real quick for everyone to see. I mean, just look at that. Wouldn't it be nice to have a beach vacation somewhere? I mean, personally, I like exploring out in the woods or in the mountains a little more. But I mean, being on the beach for a little bit, can't complain about that.
Okay, now I'm staring at that stupid mountain range, and I'm like, yeah, I probably would hike up that, and I'm sure my dog would even more love to hike up that, but I'd probably never see said dog again. She'd be like, no, we're never leaving this place. This is home now.
When you said that you were never going to see your dog again, I was thinking like some Old Yeller type stuff, but I'm
No.
glad
I mean, she's like, we're gonna live here now.
That's fair. Looks like Midnight Muses are going to be pretty aggressive here in this first team fight, really pushing Cumberland Valley up into their own, I'll say, little hut here. Struggling to get out a little bit.
Okay. I don't have a better word.
And Alice is going to go down here. Looks like Pishir is going to dive GoPro Legend in the background. And now 3 picks going on. Looks like Pea Shooter. This is kind of one of those situations, either get out or die fast. And unfortunately, it looks like Pea Shooter was unable to do either. See Legendary there on the right side of Cumberland Valley, left side of the team there. Really getting that off angle and applying some pressure.
Kizu plays different supports for a lot of these matches because, like, and I'm not saying that Brigitte is not like common. That's not what I'm getting at. It's just that, like, you know, this entire game series we've seen a lot of Moira, we've seen a lot of Lucio, we've seen, you know, so we've seen Anna, we've seen, but we haven't seen too much Brig and stuff like that. I mean, obviously team comps play a role in that. It just hasn't been a lot of, I mean, Archer's also playing Zarya, so, you know, we're getting a little mixed up here, you know. Some fresh heroes for this series of games. I mean, Maga was for a little while on the field as well.
Ducky able to get a pick here on Legendary. That'll be huge. Legendary did have Death Blossom, so being able to prevent that is going to be big. And it looks like Archer is going to opt to die fast, getting that, we'll call it a tactical respawn. So not an official team kill, but a team kill no less. Legendary has to get out here and manages to do so, but not before taking quite a bit of damage here. Still sitting on a Death Blossom.
We also got Visor from Soldier, which is in and of itself pretty. And here we go. Let's have some fun.
But getting bullied by Mr. Kezu, completely shut down. Legendary getting a pick, but looking very low on health here.
Again, I'm liking seeing a difference in you know, different characters where we get a change up in supports, we get a change up in tank, we get a change up in DPS, and it really helps to keep the game fresh because that's an entirely new strategy that you have to use to counter said character.
Yeah. I mean, I think so far we've seen a really tough Zarya coming from Archer. So having to counter that and kind of adjust to that on Cumberland Valley side definitely can change things. I did like the swap to Ramatra pretty early. I would say from Pea Shooter, I think that proved to be beneficial. But Midnight Muses is still able to get to that 99 fairly quickly, which put Cumberland Valley at a pretty big disadvantage.
You know, I've time and time again tonight noticed that the Muses tend to pick characters who are slightly quicker, just so that they can get to that point, to that whatever it is that we need to take hold of. Just get there a little bit faster, always picking a little bit of a quicker character, and you know, it's an effective strategy to get there early. I mean, in the Overwatch League, you often see symmetric players that are just there to spawn teleporter to get to point just a little bit faster before swapping out. It is a common strategy just to pick a little bit of a quicker guy, though that did not stop Cumberland Valley from saying, "Get the heck off my point, this is mine now."
Yeah, definitely a little bit longer of a team fight, but really able to come away and get the picks that they needed, playing a little more patiently than maybe we had seen at the beginning, but really able to come away with that.
No, I'm going to arguably say it. I think the Brigida is working out a lot in the thing room. I love seeing Brig in certain characters. I can't help it. It's such a bias thing, but it's just like, just happy when I see you. But I also think it's just working.
See, Nano and Rally do come out for Cumberland Valley, really hoping to secure this. Grab does come out for Archer, but Archer does go down. GoPro Legends swept there on point. And Dire Raven able to get the final pick there on GoPro Legend, preventing the point from being captured by Midnight Muses. I will say Axel doing quite a bit of damage there to initiate that elim there from Dire Raven.
Yeah, I was actually about to say it. Axel's played an impressive Ana all night.
Looks like Archer is now swapping off of Zarya. Does get slept by Axel there. But looks like Axel's getting chased down. The chase does stop. And ult coming from Legendary here, able to get picked there on Ducky. Archer taking down Dire Raven. And Kezu does go down. Overtime has started there in Cumberland Valley's favor. So really, I mean, you see that artillery is online. You see that railgun there for Ducky on Cumberland Valley side, and Annihilation is coming up. Honestly, as long as they're able to get all 5 here, if they use those 3 ults and really come away with this team fight, I think that can prove to be everything that they need here.
Yeah, honestly, almost in a way, everything they need and more. They just need that one good opportunity, and I think they can run away with it.
And it looks like Annihilation
When did
is online.
GoPro swap the Hanzo? I feel very blind now that I'm noticing it, but he's kind of been there for a hot second because he has ult, so.
And GoPro does go down. That could be the pick that they need. But they're going to have to do this quick, that way GoPro can't come back. Kezu does go down, and beat is dropped. Nano does come out, Dire Raven. And Dragon's being used here by GoPro Legend. Alice does go down. And Midnight Muses are able to hold Cumberland Valley back.
I think can happen. They don't have, we're at 70%, they don't have an excessive amount of time. However, I do believe it is very possible for them to at least get back on point one more time for a... you know what, honestly, if they can get back on point, I think that team fight can go either way.
And Ducky able to counter ult here with Railgun, able to get 2. Almost able to get 3. Axel able to finish off GoPro. And it's just Mexi. Mexi's gonna have to touch here.
No,
Does, but will
I'm telling
it be
you.
enough?
I'm telling you, the rig was a great, I'm gonna say, I think that was a great swap.
Oh, I definitely think it was a great swap as well. Definitely able to, I mean, in the first, on that first objective there on Samoa, able to shut down, I believe it was GoPro Legends Soldier ult, able to shut down that visor just being up in GoPro's face there, and then almost able to do the same for the Sojourn that we saw here on this last map. So definitely it's going to be a pretty even fight. Both teams having captured one objective. This will decide who gets the map. And like I said, although the match is officially in Midnight Muses' favor, taking away these points from Midnight Muses could make or break their push toward the upper rankings here.
Again, Muses with this just very... just the way that they flank is, it's always just so in your face all the time. It's just, hi, we're coming from everywhere.
Archer does go down to Pea Shooter, but not before getting a pick of their own. And Pea Shooter going down as well. So Midnight Muses is able to get that 9%, getting the objective there first.
but ultimately not going to be a very, I'll say, worthwhile take. Cumberland Valley able to come away and take the lead back here. You see Legendary and GoPro both flanking, trying to get Axel as Ana here. Legendary able to get pick, GoPro able to get a pick as well. Both supports down for Cumberland Valley. Archer does fall, but Mexi's able to get Dire Raven. It is just Ducky and Pea Shooter here on point. Ducky does go down. It's just going to be Pea Shooter. Pea Shooter does get booped off the map by Mexi.
Okay, make this joke just because I can't. But is that a Terminator? Is that a Terminator 2 reference when the robot falls in the lava pit? I'm like, did Ram just pull a Terminator 2 on us?
You know, I gotta say, I never watched the Terminator movies, so I can neither confirm nor deny that observation there.
Soren, you have homework. Soren, that's all I'm gonna say. You have homework.
Artillery able to get a pick there on Alice. GoPro Legend also going down there to Pea Shooter. Archer looking very low. Archer does go down as well. Legendary going down, and Cumberland Valley able to get the point back.
You know what? Talking about the for every team fight you lose, you gotta win 2 back. I feel like on this map, Cumberland's proven that they are very capable of that.
Yeah, I think we've seen it all night. Some very even team fights, and although the scoreboard may not show it, I hold firm to my statement. And all coming from GoPro. GoPro does go down. Annihilation being popped by Pea Shooter, able to survive, able to get Mexi down. Dire Raver taking down. I can't even list all those off. Again, not an official team kill, but that, yeah, that was everyone.
It was everybody.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about Annihilation so much, is you could be frozen, you could be asleep, you could be blocking. As long as you are, or correction, as long as you have enemies or opponents in your AoE, you are keeping that ult alive. And I think that's one of the best parts about Annihilation, is because you just lose it so fast, so you have such a large amount of leniency. Because as long as they're in the AoE, you're going to be damaging them, even if you yourself can't fight.
And that is a team kill in Midnight Muses' favor. Again, we are in the position where Cumberland Valley has to make one more, or win one more team fight, and the map is theirs, which would then give them the game here. Midnight Muses now in the position they have to hold this, able to get that extra, I'll say 35%, and maintain it through overtime here. And a great ult there coming from Legendary, able to get one with ult, taking down another one.
Oh, that was 3 from Legendary. That was with some, obviously with some help from GoPro, but
Yeah. At the end of the day, Legendary did get those 3 elims. You're right. And Legendary able to get a very early pick on Kezu here. And GoPro does go down. Alice able to get Dire Raven down. It looks like it is Pea Shooter, and only Pea Shooter. Kezu does come back, able to use Rally here, but unfortunately not able to maximize the value there.
I feel so bad for Axel. That was, I wish I could have that count. Like, I wish I could redo that and just make that count.
Alrighty, and that is going to be the 4th map in favor of Midnight Muses. again, I feel like I've been saying this all night, although the scoreboard's showing 4-0, and I guess at the end of the day, that's what matters. Definitely some great fights coming from Cumberland Valley, and it's been very back and forth. I think definitely the one thing that we're seeing as just like a common denominator is just not being able to finish out the map or finish out the objective. And I think being able to really capitalize on that and really come away with that is what's going to make or break their success in this next map, but also in their future matches. I think as far as playing together and that team synergy, they're really starting to get that down. It's just being able to finish things out and finalize the maps that they're winning in.
John, I can't agree more. Sorry, you know, I honestly, I wish like sometimes I could rejoin the league, but I would want to play with every single team all the time because I'm just like I just love watching you work. Like I just want the insider information.
Yeah, I think definitely each team. I mean, obviously there are only X amount of heroes you can pick from, but each team plays the game in similar ways, but yet so very differently. So it's exciting to see how that goes for everyone. We are making some swap shares. We prepare for this 5th map. Looks like GoPro Legend is going to be joining us here for an interview. All right, and we'll be pulling GoPro in now. GoPro, what's happening?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Oh, doing great. Gotta say, seeing some really good stuff from you. I liked seeing those plays you guys were able to make together. And honestly, I gotta say, I was actually making this observation before we pulled you in. You guys are doing a really good job of really finishing out things that may seem initially lost. In terms of, there were several times where Cumberland Valley had that 99% and you guys were able to come back, hold your ground, and able to finish off that objective. Are there any things that you can think of that you really kind of credit that ability to when it comes down to the nitty-gritty team fights coming up?
I mean, first of all, our team's just wholesome through and through. Everyone's got each other's backs. Even if someone's, not feeling the best, maybe they're like me, they went 16-12. They really aren't popping up. But then you have people like Legendary who just blossoms and destroys, but in the best way of just complimenting he's telling everyone else is doing great, even though he's popping off. Like that's our team. We just support each other. We're like, who cares? It's 99. Val's like, oh, I could touch. Like goes in, Archer just pounds in. He's like, oh, let's focus this. Let's do this, guys. And we're like, yeah, let's do it. It's like a pickup game when you're a kid in the summer where you have a hope, a dream, and you pull it off. Even though your back's against the wall, the 8th graders are way bigger than you. You know what? You're going to put those cleats on. You're going to kick some ass. So It was absolutely incredible. We did have a little monologue. Knees weak, arms sweaty. He's mom spaghetti. It was great. Like they really put it out there to get us hyped, and it's a great team. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah,
that's definitely exciting stuff to hear. It definitely sounds like the synergy aspect of your gameplay is really coming into place. And I gotta say, I remember just like that last Death Blossom that Legendary had, getting 3, and then you got 2 there to really finish off that team fight pretty swiftly. It's really neat to hear you guys talk about that synergy and how you guys work so well together. I can say, although I'd like to think that that's the case with every team, that may not be. So I think that's proving to be beneficial to you guys tonight, and really what's given you that 4-0, effective win in the match, but 4-0 lead so far.
Absolutely.
So going into this, go ahead. Don't mean to cut you off.
No. I'm just saying thank you. I think we really got something special going on with our team. We got some great individuals. I think the captains knew who they were drafting, and I think they drafted 100% correctly. So really excited for us to keep rocking it out the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. My question here, before I turn it over to Yvonne, if Yvonne has any questions for you. But going into this last map, so again, you guys have secured the dub for this with the first 3 points. You got the point on the last one. What is your mentality, I guess, going into this 5th game?
Yeah. 5th game, it's kind of, hey, who's ready to eat? You know, we got 4 wins. 5th game's coming up. Who on the bench wants to eat? You know, we are always moving around people. We always want everyone to have fun. We want everyone's hands sweaty at the end of the night. So I think going into it, we're just going to say who's ready to take the sticks, grab the mouse, and really just, you know, give it to them and let's eat, you know?
Yeah.
Dinner time somewhere.
Dinner time somewhere. I like it. Well, I got to say, again, kudos on the dub, but definitely seeing some really great stuff from you guys tonight. I'm excited to see more of that in your upcoming matches. Turn it over to Yvonne. Yvonne, you have any questions here for GoPro?
So, I know you were saying that you guys have really good, you know, when you're saying you're talking about your comms and you're hyping each other up in your chat or wherever you guys are using your game chat for. Does it ever get kind of messy? Like, does everybody just talk at once and it ever gets like really messy where we're not quite sure what's going on in there?
I mean, the worst is when, like, say there's a really good Mercy who's just bouncing around, you can't get her. And, you know, it's been about 20 seconds into the fight, and Mercy gets down to 10 health. Then you just hear the scream, like, it gets a little hectic. And, you know, the blood kind of starts boiling, and maybe you don't really, but you get at least one clear Mercy out of it, and hopefully we get the pick. Otherwise, yeah, no, I mean, you just kind of go into a mad rage. I don't know if you play D&D, but when you're a barbarian and you take that first bonus action to rage, it does occur, and we all just kind of go blind and start screaming, you know, random miscellaneous things. But yeah, that's about the only time really. Otherwise, most of us are pretty chill, you know, after a long work day. Outside of me, probably no one really feels like they're about to jump off the wall. But I'm just pumped to play with such great people.
Yeah. I gotta say, I love the D&D reference.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
thank
gonna
you.
say, if that does not happen at least once per like entire series of the 5 games we're gonna play, I don't think we're playing Overwatch correctly.
Amen.
It's gotta happen at least once a night, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. But no, otherwise comms are pretty chill. No, good people, good stuff. You know, it's always good combo.
Yeah. Well, I wish you the best of luck here in this last map and then in your upcoming matches. Thank you for joining us for the interview. We will
Absolutely
talk to you later.
Thanks for having me so much. And yeah, look forward to game number 5. Take care, guys.
Yeah, you too.
See you there.
Thank you.
Oh, cut him off a little too soon. That's my fault.
You're...
All right. Well, we will be hopping into, will be in escort game mode to close the night off at Junkertown. Again, and all night we've been seeing very close games between Cumberland Valley and Midnight Muses. I will be excited to see, with this escort not having to capture the objective first, as in the nature of hybrid, if that's going to change Cumberland Valley's game at all. Junkertown, for those of you who aren't 100% familiar with Overwatch, but those of you who do play pretty consistently, having received some recent reworks in the design of the map. I guess, what are your opinions on that, Yvonne?
So, I didn't notice all of them at first, because I know this is a slightly older map, so I didn't notice them as much as probably a much more older player would. I also haven't played too much since that rework. I just life gets in the way, you know.
Yeah.
But I actually think that, you know, because I think they got rid of that water tower that's in the front before the sliding doors open. I think they got rid of that, and they got rid of one other thing. I think the fact that we have a lot more open line of sight in certain parts definitely makes this map a lot more enjoyable.
So I'm gonna hit you with something real quick. The water tower is there, and they actually added some buildings and stuff to that side. So on that first objective, I would actually have to say the line of sights are pretty difficult, especially if you play Widow.
That's what I'm
Asher
saying. I don't think I've played this map more than twice since it happened, so I don't actually remember what they did or didn't do. So you are asking, unfortunately, the wrong person. I apologize completely to we're gonna get angry comments because it's like, she don't know what she's talking about. I'm sorry, I haven't been here. Okay.
No, we keep angry comments to ourselves. If there's anything I learned from my mama, it's if You don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
I hope so.
All
But
right.
what's the internet we're talking about?
Yeah,
oh my
that's
god,
true.
Soren. Soren, the payload has eyes.
Oh, yeah, it does.
The payload has eyes, Soren.
Where was it that we played? Shoot. Where did we play? Oh, wait, I have the maps in front of me here. I can just look real quick. So to finish things off, Dorado. And it was on Dorado, the payload is a truck.
Truck
Pipes,
driver?
yeah,
Yes, too.
Pipes called the truck Mater.
I don't know. Somehow I missed that the initial thing, but I'm noticing it right now. I'm like, oh my goodness. I think this is my first. Yeah, this is actually my first April Fool's Day event with Overwatch. Cause I started as or shortly after I think Life Weaver got released. So I didn't get to see the April Fool's Day event. So this is adorable. I can't get enough of it.
And Midnight Muses now starting on offense as opposed to the defense that they started on for that first one. P-Shooter getting a very early first pick, but able to get rezzed by Queenie. And it looks like the team fight is going very quickly in the favor of Midnight Muses here. Able to get 4 picks. That damage boost coming from Queenie on Legendary is proven to be lethal.
So again, I'm happy to see characters we didn't see for the rest of the night. Genji's here, Ash is here. I love seeing characters for the first time of the night. You know, like it just keeps everything looking so much more interesting. Because now we have a difference of strategy. We're gonna have to start playing around new ways of. Goodness, Kate.
And you see the positioning that Cumberland Valley is playing. This is kind of what I was talking about in terms of less sight there. Ash is really forced to have to look to that left side there. Meanwhile, you see Raven taking some weird angles. Ducky able to get a pick there on Legendary, hoping to prevent that res.
Alright, now I know no one is Symmetra here, but I'm just gonna point it out. Symmetra is so much fun on this map for me personally, just because you can stick turrets, whether you're offense or defense, you can stick turrets anywhere, and your opponent has to go running around looking for these things, or else they're just gonna have their health slowly sapped away from it. I love characters like that where it's just like you gotta be fully aware of your surroundings, or else you're gonna get. I mean, Bob's a good example of that. You know, Genji's also a really good example of just you gotta be fully aware of where you are on maps like Town. Cumberland's got a good hold at this point.
And Ducky's Bob able to get 2 picks here. And Queenie does go down, a pick from P-Shooter assisted by Ducky there. And Ducky almost going down as Legendary comes back from spawn. Looks like Midnight Muses are sitting on 4 ults here. Cumberland Valley also having 4 of their own. Only the Bobs have been thrown out so far in these fights. Looks like, yep, Nano Blade coming.
Well, you spoke it into existence. Here we go.
Nano Blade able to get 2 there, coming from KT. Now another Nano being used on Raven here. Raven taking a lot of damage and does go down. Under a minute left for Midnight Muses to push this through, but it looks like they are going to be able to.
That's solid take to the point. Just immediate Nano Blade, immediate. Whatever the Winston ult is actually called, I forget. Solid take, and Archer's going to be Doomfist. Oh goodness, here we go again. Everybody start jumping around the maps.
And Queenie does go down. That is a great pick coming from Raven. Legendary looking very low.
Archer diving in here is Doomfist, applying a lot of pressure there on Dire Raven. I think Doomfist can be a pretty good pick to apply pressure on Dire Raven, who's just able to enter turret form and do a lot of damage.
I was saying earlier, is just Doomfist can just snap characters out of whatever it was they were doing. I believe he can actually cancel certain ults doing that, because he can just be like, alright, no, you're not doing that.
You know, I was thinking to myself, Ducky able to get a good pick there. Is getting pressure applied from Archer. And Queenie does go down. Archer able to get a pick then on Ducky. Looks like we had a DC. We are going to pause momentarily.
The game was too amazing. The game was too, it was too wonderful. It could not. Oh, it overheated his PC. Yeah, I'm telling you, Overwatch was being too awesome. Alright, well, okay, so this happens to the best of everybody, so...
That is true. And I would like to point out that we have had technical difficulties before, and we've just done a similar thing, pause until they're able to come back, or we have to wait for a sub to fill in here. But in the meantime, I'd like to say that Cumberland Valley, I mean, just doing exactly what they have been doing so far, applying some really good pressure, and able to do so on defense, I think is great. Definitely, I mean, great positioning, I would say, from Ducky. Ducky getting some good picks, really able to apply pressure on Queenie, which I think is huge. Some really good healing output, obviously, from a Mercy, but also that damage boost can prove to be pretty lethal for the other team, so being able to stop that's good. I like seeing, the other thing too, is I like seeing Pea Shooter play Ramatra. I gotta say that's probably one of my favorite tank heroes that I've seen Pea Shooter play tonight.
You know what? I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I'm rather partial to Archer being Doomfist tonight, because honestly, every time I see Doomfist, it scares me. Because it's not like it's a 50-50% chance it's a Doomfist. It's more like it's like a 85-15, because you ain't playing Doom unless you know what it's like most of the time. So I'm always a bit scared. I'm a little bit scarred by that guy. Okay.
Yeah, Doomfist again. Playing Doomfist against a Bastion is 50-50. I think having that dive and really forcing the Bastion to kind of look away from, what you're maybe wanting to do, I think is part of the benefit to playing Doomfist against that Bastion. I think Gamma playing a really good Ana there as well, able to keep Archer alive as Archer dives into the back line.
You say Bastion's going to be very difficult. Honestly, I think he has a good team set up to counter the fact that Bastion exists. I mean, we got Genji, who has an amazing deflect ability. We got Ana that can put Bastion to sleep, and we have an Ashe who can just stay away and still attack pretty quickly. Now, Bastion again can lay on some pretty big hurts really, really fast, but the tactic is there, and Genji again is another character who can just kind of zip around the map and help out a lot. It actually feels like it's pretty balanced to cover all bases, and then you just have Doomfist himself, who is just so all over the place, all in your face, all of the time.
Alrighty, and we have Dire Raven back. We will be resuming the match.
Dire Raven makes his. Oh, okay. I was about to say for a second the city made his return as Widowmaker. I was like, oh, this will be scary.
I think coming off that spawn there gave maybe Archer a little bit of advantage, but either way, great stuff coming. Really trying to hold on. Looks like Midnight Muses are going to be able to capture the objective. Now with just about 2.5 minutes there to push it around. I think here in Junkertown, probably one of the hardest places to push is in this position here. This third and final checkpoint can be, or can prove to be pretty lethal.
For those who don't know, you have to make a giant, basically a U-turn in this area around this giant revolving fan, but there's an under area where your opponents can just kind of bolt to you, and they don't have to deal with this U-turn. There's a huge shortcut, but the payload has to move around this U-turn. There's no way around it.
Yeah. And I gotta tell you, there's that damage boosted Ashe that I was talking about. And Axel using ult there does go down almost immediately. Ducky is going to go down as well. And that is going to be several elims there coming from Kevin Thomas there.
There's 2 Ashes on the field, but it's just like, you just hear Bob do something so many times. I'm just like, okay. it's happening so many times. I was just like, alright, here we go again. Bob is such a lethal ultimate. It's, when I first started playing this game and I didn't know too much about the heroes or much about like, even the skills of individual heroes. The first time you hear, oh yeah, people are going to nano Bob, you're confused because you're just like, isn't that just an ultimate? Why would you do that? And then you start playing the game for a little while, and then you realize why they say that.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, Yvonne, I kind of spaced out as I was traversing the map, and I saw a bunch of messages pop up on my Discord, so I apologize for that. Yeah, that's bad on me. I'm smacking my own wrist there.
That's fine. I've been receiving like notifications through my phone, and I'm like praying that it's not being picked up from the microphone.
I haven't heard a single one, so that's good stuff.
Great, because my ringtone will make everybody cry laughing, so we're not going to talk about it. Let's have officially turned. We've got, it's Cumberland now. I'm sorry, we swapped what order the name tags are, so now I'm getting a little bit lost. So I'm just like, alright. So now it should be Cumberland Valley on the left and Midnight Muses on the right. So I've just got a little lost with that for a hot second.
And Dire Raven able to get an early pick there on Queenie. Again, that's going to be a really huge disadvantage that they're going to have being down one support here as this team fight progresses. KT able to get a pick there on Dire Raven though, but is rezzed. Archer does go down. P-Shooter applying a lot of pressure. Ducky able to get a pick there on Legendary. It looks like there's Kevin Thomas, and now Queenie is back as well. Looks like P-Shooter's gonna try and dive. Queenie is now isolated, or sorry, that was Axel that I saw, not Queenie. I'm used to seeing the red mean the enemy there.
Interesting for a Mercy map. Like, this opening area is really, really good for it because, you know, it's an open area, like outside, so obviously it makes a great sense for our Mercy. Well, Far Mercy, especially in that last area, during the YouTube, it's pretty enclosed, so you can't move around as much. That being said, Far has a lot of great places to perch in this map and just stay away from everybody, but still, you know, hit you with rockets. So, this is just a very interesting map in general for Far herself, I should say.
You know, you were talking about seeing different heroes as well. It's really good, I think, seeing Riven play this Pharah. I really like seeing this.
A bit of Widow. As I said, this is the first time I think we've seen Ashe tonight. We're seeing Lightweaver for the first time tonight. I love watching characters get switched up because that means that's a whole new pool of strategy that you gotta counter for. You at least gotta anticipate. So let's do this. Who's your favorite support in the game? Just to play for fun or whatever. Whatever you think is like you're classifying as who you like the best. Or are you just out of support player?
I would say my main is probably I don't know. I think the only one that I just don't play consistently is probably Brigitte.
It's a pretty steep learning curve. Mine has always been Lifeweaver. I loved Lifeweaver before he was cool. So like when he first came out and he only had like 65 healing. Yeah, I don't know why. I saw this character and I'm like, yes, this will be exactly who I play.
And aside from the mains talking here, Midnight Muses able to get 4 there. A good Diva Bomb coming from Archer, able to take out Axel and able to demag Peace Shooter. Looks like the Cumberland Valley, they're going to have to regroup considerably in order to continue to push this payload forward. Now they do still have over 2.5 minutes to do so, so definitely nothing to sweat so far, but it looks like Midnight Muses sitting on those 3 ults, coming up on 4. Meanwhile, they have none of their own. Tree coming online just now.
I think we're gonna have bombs soon. We're at 90, 97. But I feel really fast. I would use it immediately. I don't blame the idea. That made a lot of space. It gave payload an opportunity to start moving forward. I'd say it was very direct use. You know, that's another thing. Sometimes the ultimate does not need to get a kill. Sometimes it just needs to make space. Sometimes it just needs to get. Sometimes it can be something tactical. I know this is not the instant thing, but for D.Va, sometimes if your mech is about to explode and you don't have an immediate team behind you, sometimes you want to pop ult just so that you can get back in your mech immediately.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's what that was. Peace Shooter acknowledged that they were really holding that high ground there, going up pretty recklessly, maybe try and get him out of position, and knowing that, hey, I have ult if it doesn't go well. Now Archer is also sitting on bombs here, able to get Dire Raven. Bomb is going to be used, only able to get Mr. Kezu here, but still a good pick. Able to track Axel in here as well, who's using all. Archer does take Ducky down as well. Looks like we're going to have a D.Va 1v1. In a sense,
not.
Axel was supporting there as well.
This is a good choke. I've never held this specific choke point as Midnight Muses has quite often, but Junkertown is really interesting because again, a lot of people. You can use the map in a lot of really interesting ways here. Like I never use this choke specifically. I'm normally using the next set of platforms right before the checkpoint. I just love watching players use the map or something in a way that I myself would not realize it.
Yeah, I mean, holding that high ground has proved very beneficial for Midnight Muses. Bob is coming out there from Legendary. Legendary does go down. Peace Shooter having used another bomb here. Archer does go down. That's going to be huge not having their tank here for this fight.
that window there. And Kevin able to switch to Tracer.
Kevin had a good idea swapping to Tracer, just a slippery character who can tack on high amounts of damage in a quick amount of time.
Definitely. Alrighty, well, GG's across the board to both Cumberland Valley and Midnight Muses. Definitely an excellent matchup between the two, and ultimately I can say, although I may not have been screaming, it was really good to see some really, I would say, really close games between Midnight Muses and Cumberland Valley. Again, Cumberland Valley just really showing a lot of improvement coming into this matchup against a pretty tough Midnight Muses. So that's exciting to see. So kudos to both teams. Very well played tonight on everyone. And Midnight Muses are able to sweep all the points, so that's going to be a 5-0. But again, I default back to what I said. Very close games. And I'll be honest, I think that's kind of evident. We did have our interviews, but there aren't too many streams that we have that surpass 2 hours. So definitely, if nothing else proves that the matches were close, I would say that the amount of time that the stream took overall is evidence. So with that being said, for those of you who are still hanging around, we do appreciate you being here. We appreciate you spectating everything and cheering on your teams. I don't just skim over those cheers for your team and supporting your team. So we appreciate you being here, and I'm sure the players do too. So really good things from you guys, as well as appreciate the interactions and everything. Of course, huge shout out to both teams. We couldn't have the league without the teams. That's obviously very important to us. And then Yvonne, thank you again for being here. It's always a pleasure to commentate and cast with you. It's been fun. But
honor and a pleasure every time, Zoran.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and hope to have you again sometime. We are going to be playing or you will be seeing our socials on there. We are still growing as a community, so just a free way for you to support us as we continue on this journey to continue to grow the Overwatch Odyssey League. Our socials are linked below. There is a social link to our TikTok, to our Facebook. I'm not sure if our Instagram's down there, but if it's not, it should be, and we'll get that added shortly. And then obviously you're watching on our YouTube. Again, just a free way to support us. If you give a like on the video, if you subscribe to our channel and some of our other socials, that would really go a long way, and we would really appreciate it. But with that being said, we do have some upcoming matchups on Monday. We have got the Respawn Rangers coming off loss against the Midnight Muses. Respawn Rangers are going to be facing XL2. That is going to be the 8th at 8 p.m. And then we have a rescheduled match from before. That is going to be between... Shoot, now I got to pull up my schedule. I said that and I wasn't even prepared to say it.
It's okay, Zoran. You got this.
Bear with me here. Man, this is why I need to take better notes, I guess. So that is going to be between Loggers and Kaiju Corps. That matchup will be Tuesday, April 9th at 8 p.m., both games at 8 p.m. EST. That should be a pretty good game, fun one to see the Loggers and Kaiju Corps compete in. Another thing to keep in mind, so for those of you, aware of current events and whatnot, there is a eclipse coming up on Monday. So for those of you who aren't aware of that, supposedly, unlike stocking up on bread rations, they're saying stock up on cash, on gas, and man, I forget what the third thing was.
And don't look directly into the sun because you're gonna hurt your eyes.
Don't look directly into the sun.
Don't look into the sun. All right, everybody, stay safe.
But with that being said, stay safe on Monday. Don't look into the sun, as Yvonne said. But hopefully we will see you back for that Respawn Rangers XL2 matchup, 8 p.m. EST. Until then, we've got Friday left, and then we've got weekend. So enjoy your weekend, and we will see you back here on Monday. Thank you.